Hello and welcome to this pattern recognition video. Now we are going to look at a pattern that I would like to call the Armenian Blockade. And I call it that because the only examples I found of this were in games by Armenian players. Now, this pattern, although in both cases there is a blockade, the thing I number one want to teach here is that in opposite color bishop endgames, what we are about to see can be a very valuable way to create a pass pawn. So we are looking at a game here played by Levon Aronian with white against Vidit. This is from an internet tournament and should be around an equal game, at least in the moves before. Black was shuffling his bishop back and forth here, and Black missed a chance to just go for the bishop endgame, and he should be able to draw. Instead, he allowed White, who has this pressure on g7, which is very important. When you have opposite color bishops, very often you have pressure on the color complex that your bishop is on. And here White has an initiative on the black squares because of this pressure on g7. And this enables White to unleash the Armenian Blockade with the move pawn to b4. And the goal of this move is to create a pass pawn with this 2-against-1 majority here on the queen side. And because Black is so tied down to this pawn, if that happens, he will lose the game. And now that we have a pass pawn, it's too late to go for the queen trade. So we took the pawn, and now the blockade, bishop to b2. We're not allowing these pawns to move, and that means that this bishop remains pat and has a really hard time to deal with this pawn. So queen trade again doesn't work. The bishop is completely hemmed in, so this pawn would simply run up the board. So Black is just in a zugzwang here. He played h5, and now g5 by Aronian. A fantastic concept. Black is tied down to the defense of this pawn, and, having administered the Armenian Blockade, Levon now just went to the second phase of the plan to push this pawn. Black into nothing. Shuffled the king, pawn to a6. Now he tried some desperation, but we can simply take here. d2, trying to at least land a check here on b1, but too late. We trade the queens, and we're in time to stop this pawn, which is inside, the king is inside the square. I had seen this pattern a few years ago in this critical game from the Pro Chess League. And, well, no, I'm actually wrong. It was Artak Manukyan who had black. Oh no! Well, the Armenian was blocked. In my memory I had Artak with white, but he was on the black side here, and he lost this game because of precisely the same pattern. In this position, White is struggling to find a way to win the game, because if he enters with the king here, let's say he goes for this plan, Black waits, and he wants to attack this, I can simply temporize with the king. I always have a tempo, and then the bishop will just protect the pawn. You go back, I protect the pawn. But in this position, he had the same concept as Aronian had in the game against Vidit. Played b4. And now we're going to create a pass pawn. After a takes b3, as happened in the game. King to b2, and again we have this blockade here. We blockade the pawns, which means the bishop is hemmed in, and then we simply push the pawn. The bishop tried to run back, but it's too late, because now we can enter with the king. The king is going to enter here. Now we win the game. So that's basically what happened. The king entered, and we win the game. All because of this freeing move, b4, allowing en passant, but creating a vital pass pawn. The Armenian Blockade.